I've been feeling a lot of monotony lately, and not I was gonna say not necessarily because of COVID-19 stuff, but that's definitely a part of it, a huge part of it. But it wasn't directly related in the sense of like, oh no, I can't go anywhere and do these things I used to do and whatever. Um, I guess it's twofold, and again, COVID-19 stuff plays a role, but it's not necessarily that role that I feel like is the obvious one to reach out to. Part of it is just like honestly like parenting stuff and just like the monotony of having to have the same discussions daily, certain behaviors repeated daily, um, things that aren't changing, that are too static, that should be improving and getting better, and are either sliding backwards or staying exactly the same. There's that. I wouldn't call that monotony, but I mean that's definitely a repetitive thing that is very draining. That started making me think about just monotony in general, and I was like, man, I hit a wall recently where because some of those um, behaviors in in a child aren't necessarily changing, I feel like my days end up being very restricted, and I just also just don't have the energy that I had beforehand. It's not even a loss of patience. I mean, it is a loss of patience, but not in a way that like makes me snap and get angry. I'm beyond the point of that where my loss of patience has got me to a place where I just don't have the energy to correct and teach and educate in a way that I was before and that I would like to be at again. Um, and I don't mean in an academic sense necessarily. I mean, that's part of it, but it's not the biggest part. More of just like a life sense, like just like life skills and things like that, and trying to curb certain behaviors and make positive changes in certain areas. And it sucks to admit that I don't have the patience or energy right now to correct these behaviors. And the reason I don't have that, it's like this cycle of like I don't have the patience, energy, whatever else, demeanor for it in order to do my best to correct those behaviors in a positive way that I know that I can. And because I'm not doing that anymore, it's not getting any better, but it's not getting better because I'm not doing that anymore. But it's like I was doing it, and that's when it like I was doing it for a while, and I was trying to think of new ways and have conversations with my partner, and like try to just to do my best on a daily basis, to do my best, and make some mistakes, then come back right away with my best again, and change my approach and do all these things and invest all this time and energy. And then despite all that, this type of thing persists, and I feel somewhat defeat, but not completely, like not like I've just given up all hope and everything, but uh, just given up for the moment, I guess. Like it's not like it's a completely lost cause type feeling, but it feels like, man, right now it doesn't matter what I do. Right now it doesn't matter. Like whatever approaches I use are ineffective. Change is taking too long to happen. In the meantime, I suffer the consequences of those changes not occurring, or those behaviors staying the same, or backsliding, or whatever else. And it's just taken a toll. And that's not a type of repetitiveness that I ever thought I guess I would have to face. Um, and I shouldn't say that, because I suppose if I've ever had a partner, that was unwilling to change, or said that they were going to change and didn't, then that would be the same thing, I guess, right? Like it's being caught in a cycle that you personally have no control over. All I have is control over myself, right? So caught in someone else's cycle of unchangingness, I don't know what to call it, like, um, caught in that cycle is really detrimental for me. However, unlike a partner, after a certain amount of time, you could remove yourself from that situation. And that's not something that's crossed my mind at all, to remove myself from the situation. It's just the fact that with a partner, you could make that choice. You could say, okay, like, we were in a committed relationship, but things aren't going the way they need to because there isn't enough change in these areas that you've committed to, or that need to change for us to be a healthy partnership. And it's been, we've tried this and we've tried that, and things aren't, I haven't been happy for a long time, and therefore I need to exit this in order to just be a healthy human being on my own. But that's not really the same thing you can do with kids. And again, this is a whole like situation. It's not the same as being like a parent from a biological parent for one, and having to not being that and not being around since day one and all this stuff. And I didn't think this was going to get that specific, but I guess it is. And I don't think I've really made like a legit like parenting conversation yet. But I guess here we are. This is not what I was expecting. So yeah, it's just like this was supposed to be about monotony in the days and them being the same and how to break that cycle and being whatever. Lack of control is a huge thing for me, and I feel like this is a new area in which I have no control. I only have control over myself, really, and just how I approach things and how I choose to process the information. I mean, that's somewhat in my control, how I can process the information. I can look at things again, I can reflect again, I can have conversations, I can research, I can let other ideas in and then try to reprocess, and decide what to do. I mean, that's really ultimately, I guess I get to decide how I take in, like, after I process the information, I get to decide how to use that information. So, there's a lot of choices that I have. I'm not completely stripped of choice, but yet I feel trapped somewhat because I feel exhausted. I feel tired. I feel like my actions, in all these different forms aren't doing anything. And I'm sure that for people who are like parents or have been in that role or whatever, this is not unfamiliar territory. This is nothing. This is like, yeah, this happens. And I'm sure that it'll blow over and things will change and whatever. But this is such a struggle for the moment. Like I said, I got beyond the point of being overwhelmed and having no patience where I could react with anger. I react with frustration. I am angry, but not like it's a pale anger. It's not explosive. It's not aggressive. It's disappointment and too tired to do anything with that. Too tired to take the teachable moment and make it what it could be. And that is like a twofold failure for me. One, as someone who is an educator and someone who is filling a parental role. And like, I have skills that I can apply here. Human skills, adult skills, just whatever. Education skills, right? Teacher skills, like all those things in my, toolbox, my toolkit, or my tool belt, or whatever. I have all those things at my disposal, and it's just like beating your head against a brick wall, like expecting, the wall to move, or the wall to change, or to make a dent in it. And it's just like, well, okay, let's try a different approach. The other approach, my tool breaks, like it's just, and it just breaks it just wears down. And I don't know. There's certain things that I obviously know that reacting. I don't know. This is about I don't know. There's nothing I can keep doing and keep slogging through it, and I feel that way about a lot of things. That I don't have the luxury of breaking down. I don't have the luxury. It's not like I don't have that. So this is a spot that I'm not in very often, where I feel overwhelmed. Like there's nothing I can do. What the hell, for like an extended amount of time. An extended amount of time for me in this scenario is like a couple days, because that's how I've been feeling the past couple days. Like There was, a week and two ago, it was more of like, what the hell's going on? Why is this happening? What is happening? What can we do about it? Let's talk. Let's figure some things out. Let's process the information. Let's do some things that are constructive. And at some point, it became, anger and that type of frustration and being upset and being like reacting in that manner and not having any patience and expressing it in that manner, which isn't useful at all. And then it came to this place where I'm beyond that point where I have it. I don't know. I don't know how to get that part back right now of just like, I guess it's like fake it till you make it. That's what I have to do and be like, hey, okay, I don't really feel like it's vulnerable for me sometimes to parent properly. It takes energy out of me, like emotional, mental energy, to do what is best and to say, once again, here we go. I need to have this discussion. I'm going to be positive about it. I'm going to try really hard to like think of something that will make us both happy, that will assist, that will be what needs to be done. Or just do what needs to be done in a way like that, I don't know, isn't just reactive. That's a creative solution that seems to be a really positive one that also makes a child feel good. And then I go back and forth like, well, if someone doesn't feel good, sometimes it's because they don't need to feel good. You shouldn't feel good when you are continually making mistakes, right? Like this kind of goes back to the shame conversation, but I mean like I shouldn't feel good 30 seconds after I make a huge mistake. I should sit with that for a while. That should affect me for a long time. I should be dwelling on that and thinking about, man, I don't like this bad feeling. What can I do to change? And I don't know. I just feel stuck. I feel, again, like there's just, the only thing I come back to just needing to refocus on me to get myself right. But I'm not in a horrible place where I feel like, man, I just can't, I'm not in like a super anxious state. I'm not in like a panicky state. I'm not in like a traditionally overwhelmed state where I'm like, man, I don't know what to do, but I'm calm about it. I'm disappointed, I'm frustrated, but I'm calm about it. And then I don't know what to do in this space because I don't have the energy to regroup right now on my own and do these things. I don't have the energy. I don't have the option to hand it off either. That's the thing. About 45 hours a week alone with a child, I don't have like, and needing to almost every day have to exert energy into, there's the academic side of things, and then there's the behavioral side of things, and the more emotional, side of things, and having to exert energy into those teaching moments, into having patience every day, not being able to escape those moments really, and not wanting to escape those moments in reality. I don't like escaping the moment. Like if I'm like, man, I just need to take a walk. Sure, sometimes you just need to take a walk, sometimes you just need 5 because you need to regroup and then come back and attack the situation with positivity and love and patience and whatever. But that's an option, but that's not where I am. Like 5 minutes to regroup is nothing. 5 hours to regroup right now doesn't do anything for me. I feel super stuck. I'm sure it will pass, but I don't know what needs to give. I don't know what needs to break. Is it me that needs to break in order to come through with some new stuff, or just keep plugging away at the old stuff, the good stuff, the or think of new good stuff? Or is it just going to somehow, it's just, I don't know, it's like I said, like slogging through. Like, again, I don't feel like I don't have the opportunity to hand this off. I can't just say, I'll just come back in a week when things are better, and then I'll be able to handle the fact that things are better. Obviously, like when things are good, like you can obviously handle it. When things are bad, if you can't, that's a problem. So, I don't think I'm being detrimental right now, but I'm not in a good place. I don't know. There's so much to think about constantly as to like how my actions are affecting someone else, how their actions are affecting me, how their actions are affecting themselves, how my actions are affecting me, which then will in turn affect someone else. What do I need to do to get right? I can't force someone else to do what they need to do to get right. I can't talk to someone who has no critical thinking skills, you know, in a way, like, or problem solving skills, or doesn't have the same awareness just because of brain maturity. Like, I'm an adult, they're, you know, a child. Like, to say you need to really think about some things and figure it, like, it's just not, I don't know, I'm supposed to be here to assist in getting to that place. We're not at that place yet. And this kind of goes to the fact of why I never wanted to teach children, you know, like, because I've been very aware of the lack of interest and skills that I possess as a teacher, like an academic teacher, in wanting to get students to that place. I want to further someone's critical thinking skills. I want to challenge their critical thinking skills. I want to give them scenarios to problem solve. I want them to improve on themselves. All those things that I love about teaching high school, but I don't want to be at an elementary school level, like, I don't know, it's helping someone and furthering those skills that should already be there just because of regular, you know, like brain maturity that matches their age and stuff. Like, these are skills that I don't think any 8-year-old child has. This is why, like I said, I don't want to teach elementary school. Because I like having conversations and discussions and challenging students in a very specific way, which is just, these are life skills that I want to help grow. You know, I get challenged by students too, and I can't do that in that type of scenario. Like, I'm challenged now. I shouldn't say I can't be. That scenario challenges me greatly, but not in a way that I'm interested in. Like, this is just because I'm not interested in it doesn't mean I don't need it, but also, like, I mean, if we're talking about, like, a career aspect, I'm like, well, that's just not, I don't need to be challenged by that specific I don't need to grow in that area necessarily to be good over here. Like, this is where I want to be, and there's plenty of ways I can be challenged over here working with these students versus working with these students. I don't need that extra thing. And during subbing and stuff like that, I realize how much I need to grow in certain areas. But at the same time, if I don't need that skill to be over here, then I don't need that skill. But it is a skill that I need here. And I don't know. I just don't know how to. I feel like every day is exactly the same for the past couple of days. And for me to have that feeling even for a couple of days, I feel off. I feel really weird. It's like when I don't leave the house for a day. And so I know there's part of it that, like, yeah, we can't just do, like, I'm not working. So I'm not out of the house and then back here for a couple hours and then whatever. Like, no, I'm here for the majority of the day because the schoolwork needs to happen here. And depending on how quickly that happens or doesn't happen, I need to be here longer. And then, yes, we can go out for a couple hours and go for a bike ride and, like, get some groceries done, and I get some me time every once in a while too. But, like, I feel like these days, like I said, even 5 hours right now of time to myself is not time to regroup. I don't need the time to regroup. I don't know what to regroup to. I don't know what. Like, again, sometimes I feel like I'm pulling weight by myself, and that's just how it needs to be. And I know that this isn't a scenario where I have the luxury of handing it off. I know it's not a scenario where I can break down. There's no choices here. I feel like I'm stripped of choices and control, and just. Again, all I can come back to is, well, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And if what I'm doing isn't working, what can I do that's different? What can I do that's different over here? And if you feel like you've exhausted a lot of your choices, then you just have to go back and say, well, this was the choice that I felt was best. Even though it didn't get anywhere, it is the most productive, positive thing to do. So I guess I'll just keep doing that and just hope that it'll go somewhere. But just seeing repetition of behavior that is detrimental to everyone day after day after day is putting me in a place where I don't know how to, I just feel off. Like I said, for me, like, I need to leave the house every day. So in normal circumstances, if for some reason I just didn't leave the house because of whatever, I feel really off. I feel like disassociative a little bit. I don't feel like I'm me. I feel like I'm going through the motions. Like, I don't feel like a complete human being for some reason. Like, if I stay inside too long, and for me, that's just, too long in a day. Like, I need to get out every single day just to feel alive and like myself and a whole person. Um, and like, I don't know, this is just, I don't know. I don't know. I unfortunately feel like I'm not getting enough back from all the energy that I'm exerting, that, and I don't have a choice to say, hey, you're not getting that back, so we need to have some real conversation. Like, I don't know. This is stuff that, again, a lot of people, I'm sure, will just expect. Like, yeah, of course, that's just what happens. But this isn't something that I was like. I came to my scenario slowly at first, and there was a lot of conversation and a lot of reflection and a lot of thoughts and a lot of whatever, but it's not like I can be prepared for every single scenario, and to know how it would feel and what I would do in that scenario. But this is why I have so much conversation with people, is to figure out, how could I prepare for that scenario if it were to happen? What would I do? What would be best? And therefore, I'm as prepared as I can be. And even then, I mean, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be faced with the specific challenges I was thinking of in my forethought, because that's just not what life is. And I'm very aware of that. But this is, again, a place where it is very new territory to me. That's not an excuse for not being able to handle it, or not being able to handle it well, or whatever is going on. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm not exhausted in the way that I'm going to fall asleep every time. Like, there is a physical element, obviously, that my mental and emotional drainage will take a toll on me physically, absolutely. But I mean, I just feel out of place. I feel like what I do doesn't matter. And I feel like I'm also doing things for other people to such a degree and not getting enough back, that I am lost in the process. Like, my being is lost. If I was doing more for myself and then a little bit of the time trying to work in this capacity and do things for other people and teach and learn and grow and be positive and loving and caring and give and give and give and give, and I wasn't getting back just a couple hours a day, I wasn't getting it back, versus the majority of my day, every day I'm not getting it back, that would be a whole different thing. So that's where I'm at. I don't think I really learned a lot in here. No, I did. I don't have any solutions, but I learned more about how I'm feeling and why I'm feeling that way. I just don't have any solutions yet. I don't have anything right now that's new that I can try to, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. All I can focus on is being a better me. And you know how tiring it is sometimes to be like, that's what I've been doing every day, is how can I be a better me? How can I be a better me to get the better out of someone else? You can't control someone else. So cycles and cycles and loops and loops and circles, and that's it for me. We'll see you another time.